New research shows a sharp drop in the number of babies born in the U.S. last year. An analysis reported in the New York Times found an estimated 3.84 million babies were born in 2017. That's down more than 100,000 from the year before.
Sunscreen is being absorbed into our bloodstream and elsewhere in our body.
And we are just seeing a constant decrease every single year on births in the United States.
6 of the commonly used chemical sunscreen ingredients get into your bloodstream and greatly exceed the levels considered safe by the FDA.
Fertility rates are dropping, and according to a new study out of the University of Michigan, in fact, the rates are lower than during the Great Depression.
Oxybenzone is a chemical sunscreen ingredient found not only in sunscreens, but it's also found actually in personal care products like cosmetics, fragrances, and is not easily removed by wastewater treatment plants.
The nation now has the lowest number of births in 32 years.
9 of the FDA-approved ingredients in sunscreen are actually hormone disruptors. And hormone disruptors, when put on the skin, can get absorbed into the bloodstream, which links them to cancer.
96.8% of the U.S. population has been exposed to oxybenzone.
And the number of babies, there's a drop in the number of babies being born. What's happening here?
The U.S. birth rate is on a decline.
These ingredients can make its way into women's breast milk, can cause endocrine hormonal disturbances, and they lack non-clinical safety data regarding whether they are carcinogens and harm developing children.
Issues with infertility, long-term effect.
In rat models, oxybenzone have an endocrinologic effect. Rats fed oral oxybenzone had an effect on their uterine weight.
The first 20 years of the 2000s have seen 100 million fewer births than the last 20 years of the previous century.
Did you know that our conventional sunscreen is bleaching and therefore killing our coral reefs? Yeah, about 5,000 tons of conventional sunscreen goes into our oceans every year. Basically, we're slathering it on and then jumping in the ocean. It's responsible for 10% of all coral loss.
The number of babies born in America last year falling to a 32-year low.
Fertility is below replacement rate within the U.S., and that's why we project that actually populations will start to decline around the world.
We have more deaths per annum than births.
Some had predicted a baby boom during lockdown, but initial research suggests U.S. birth rates have fallen.
Birth rates in the USA have dropped to their lowest annual levels in 3 decades.
We'll step from an aging society to a dying society.
And part of a longer decline that dates back to the Great Recession.
Deaths exceeding births about 5 years ago, and that's still the position now.
Remember that old saying, one born every minute? No longer.
But in 2018, the birth rate began to decline.
Census figures show the national population is steadily shrinking,
and the mortality rate will exceed the birth rate,
due in large part to the declining birth rate.
Why is the birth rate still declining?
Sunscreen is being absorbed into our bloodstream and elsewhere in our body.